Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing? Welcome back from the weekend. Hope you had a good time. We're back. All right. A couple things going on today. Let's jump into our cosmic weather, and we'll get to those momentarily. First of all, our solar wind is 407.1 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index is at a 1, could get up as high as a 3 in the next 24 hours. Coronal holes, we're not really seeing anything of significance. However, we do see some forming here, and these are pretty good sized holes in and of themselves, but nothing like the big triangle or anything that we have seen in the past. Our M-class flare possibility is back down to 10% chance, while geomagnetic storm activity is down pretty low. If you're in the mid-latitudes or high latitudes, you got something could going on, 20% chance. Alright, that's what's taking off for our space weather information over here astrologically, dealing with the same sun sign, which is Virgo. A couple more days of this. Virgo is an earth sign, so we've got the practical on the outside. Also remember, Virgo is represented in the tarot by the card of the Hermit, which is the one who walks alone in solitude in order to be able to find the light to shine it bright for everyone else. So all of this analysis that's been going on is with reason. Today our moon sign is Libra. Libra is an air sign. Libra is all about communicating the words and the actions. So it goes well with the practicality of the earth, which is looking to formalize and bring all those ideas down into a physical form, a manifested form. However, patience and timing is required, and with Libra, we're always getting some sort of balancing. Libra is the tarot card of justice, so there's a balance that is implied of give and take, karmic balance, things of that nature. So that's what's going on unconsciously. Air, conscious, earth. Air and earth are the two elements we're dealing with today. We go over to the moon phase, and we see that we are in a waxing moon, which means we're on the way up. We just had our new moon over the course of the weekend, and now we're back on the way up to the full again. Now the Mayan Oracle, we're at an 8-tone day. The 8-tone is called the galactic tone of integrity. In the middle you have the yellow human, which is the kin for today. So today is a galactic human, and the guide for today is the warrior. The supporting cast you have is the wind, the hand, and the moon beneath. We can see on our wave spell here, we are in the 8th position. The wave spell is still the wave spell of the serpent, so we are moving according to that same theme of the life force energy. The phrase for today is I harmonize in order to influence, modeling wisdom. I seal the process of free will with the galactic tone of integrity. I am guided by the power of intelligence. And today is a galactic activation portal day. It's one of those 10 days that I've told you about last week, so we're getting to the end of it. Alright. That's where we're at. We still have a couple more days to go. But nonetheless, that's where we are at the moment. Alright, then on the Gregorian calendar, it is Monday the 17th of September 2012. Alright, going to start things off here with is a piece from Spirit Science. This is Spirit Science 18, the 4 elements. So I talk about the elements every morning, talk about the elements when I do the meditations. So this is a good piece about the elements, further understanding what they are. So enjoy. I'll be back.
We know the 4 elements: earth, air, water, and fire. It's the geometry of a square. We have this prevalent system of 4 all over our world. We have 4 states of matter: solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. We have 4 seasons. Winter is earth, spring is air, summer is water, and autumn is fire. We have 4 directions. We have 4 ways of taking in energy: food, water, oxygen, and prana. We have 4 directions on the Native American medicine wheel. Also, we have the Mayan Hunab Ku, as well as the dream spell calendar. This system is all over the ancient past in symbolism hidden in different cultures. Our reality can be divided in a number of ways that will yield alternative perspectives of what is happening all around you. If you look at everything from a perspective of 1, which is unity, you're looking at the full encompassment of everything. You're looking at the source field. There are no dualities. Everything is 1. If you look through 2, you see duality. You're looking at the male and the female of reality, the structured and the creative and inspiration. If you look through 3, you see a trinity: mind, body, spirit, male, female, child, up, down, middle, black, white, gray, or even little things like 111 or 333 on your clock. If you look through 4, you see the 4 elements. They are the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, or perhaps 1111 on your clock. We can continue. 5 is the pentacle, as well as the dodecahedron. 6 is the vector equilibrium, or cuboctahedron, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Do you see how each geometry is connected to a different energy? There's a lot of connections here that we can make to start seeing things bigger. Each point on the flower of life is 1, and when you connect them, the geometries expand. 2 is the trion ray. 3 is a trinity, a triangle. 4 in the flower of life is a vesica Pisces, but it can also be a square. As these expand, they grow in dimension as well. 5 is a pentagon, and 6 is a hexagon. Each of these numbers relate to our dimensions as well. Dimensions and densities are very interconnected, although they are not the same. Dimensions go like this. 1 is 1 dot. That's unity, or dimension 0. Then 2 is a line. That's duality. 3 dots is a triangle, so you get a flat plane, a 2-dimensional shape. 4 dots is a tetrahedron, giving you depth, bringing you to the 3rd dimension. There's no real way of drawing a 4th-dimensional object in a 2-dimensional video, but it's believed that they're as amazing as something like this in actual manifestation. You might notice that we're really only looking at up to 6 geometries. This is because as we're evolving, we're moving from a 3rd-dimensional awareness to a 5th-dimensional awareness, so these are the ones that we need to understand. These geometries also work in tandem with the chakras. Everything is connected. So we have the 4 elements down, which means there are 2 more geometries to look at. Well, actually 3, but the Merkava is a whole video on its own. The 5th geometry is the dodecahedron, which I associate to being the life geometry. Not creating life itself, but the expression of consciousness through the other 4 elements. Think of it like your awareness of each of the other elements, the awareness of your physical manifestation, the awareness of your emotional self, your mental self, and the realization and awareness of your spiritual self as well. We have 5 platonic geometries that form everything in creation, but we don't have a hexagonal shape. If we look at the flower of life, we see that its ultimate basic form is in a 6-pointed shape, called a hexagon. Want to see where else hexagons form in life? We have all of these hexagons, and yet there is no platonic solid that is formed with a hexagon. So, what gives? Well, I want to introduce the vector equilibrium, which was coined by Buckminster Fuller. It is actually formed from 3 2-dimensional hexagons that swivel around each other, and its basic shapes that make it up are an equilateral triangle and the square. These are the 2 smallest shapes that you can make with straight lines, and together they balance at each other's corners to create the perfect shape. Why is it the perfect shape? Well, amazing physicist of the future, Nassim Haramein, has put together a movie called Black Hole that explains this. The reason is that every single line which is connected in this shape is the same distance away from every other point, including the very center of the shape itself. Not even the platonic solids have that definition, which also makes this the most stable shape and polyhedron, and the basis of the three-dimensional flower of life. Finally, the only reason it's not a platonic solid is because it has both squares and triangles within it. Platonic solids are platonic because each face is the same, which makes me think that other shapes must exist that are balanced between two different shapes as well, and construct everything in the universe. To really learn more, check out Black Hole by Nassim Haramein. He actually has done a lot of videos out there which explains his theories and understandings of physics, and he's really amazing to listen to. His latest movie, Black Hole, is a good explanation of everything in just 1 hour, so we do recommend it the most. Before we end this video, I want to connect the final dots in the array to show you how all of these geometries are connected to life, and in turn, you. A seed in the ground sprouts up into a large tree. The tree blossoms a flower. The flower produces a fruit, and the fruit contains the seed. This is the natural progression of the cycle of life through consciousness on Earth. So let's translate that to geometry and see what happens. The seed of life sprouts the tree of life. The tree blossoms the flower of life. The flower produces the fruit of life, and the fruit of life contains the seed of life. In human evolution, I feel that the human race is still but a seed, an embryo, but about to expand into the tree of life. We're evolving consciously, and we're still stuck on the ground, stuck in the dirt, but not for long. Check out this painting I found on DeviantArt by the brilliant artist Adrian Kenyon. This is his depiction of the miraculous conception of creation and human history. It starts at unity, a sphere. The caduceus is seen coming from it, duality, then a trinity. Then, as the 4 elements come into manifestation, we get physical reality, crystals form, and water layers over top of it. All of these previous elements were conscious of their own, but now biological life begins to develop in the water and crawl onto land. We go through a few stages of evolution. Dinosaurs, basic mammals, and then humans show up. There's a lot of ideas as to where we came from, and we won't get into this now. Adam and Eve happens, the Buddha becomes enlightened underneath the Bodhi tree, and then something shifts. From this point to here is where we are now. Disconnected from our own natural spiral, paving over the ground, killing people for telling us that being materialistic can heed nothing good. Then come the world wars, and the world falls into chaos. And then something shifts again. From the destroyed world, another seed grows. We switch into a different reality. It starts out small. From out of the chaos, a tiny new Earth emerges and grows larger. This is the new Earth, a new realm of light and purity that we were meant to be connected with all along. The planet continues to evolve. Here exists angels, archangels, and multidimensional hypercubes. The planet becomes more crystalline over time. The last part of the spiral is the 7th dimension and the realm of God, an infinite number of multiverses dividing like cells in an embryo, an ultimate omnipresence, as everything that is contained in all of these multiverses is a part of God's consciousness. A snake biting its own tail, an Ouroboros, is the symbol of cyclic rebirth, like the phoenix. All of the information contained in the 7th dimension is held here like a nest for the next cosmic egg. There are a few other ideas that come to mind about this that I want to share as well. First, look at the shape of it as a whole. It's the Trion Ray, the geometry of DNA and light that we've been looking at before. If you line that up with the chakras, you can see how we go from a super dense space up to the highest frequency, until we once again connect with the same source that we were originally connected to. Doesn't that look familiar on the Flower of Life? If these theories about the Flower of Life are true, then that means this entire experience of human history and ascension and growth and evolution is just one wave of energy from one point to another on an infinite universe of possibilities. Each point is the supreme awareness of some aspect of the God Source consciousness field, and the energy that moves between it is the vibrations and waves of energy that we are experiencing, called the electromagnetic field. As much smaller fractals of the same source energy have experiences through these waves. This image also doesn't account for the number of parallel realities that we could experience at this point. If the Flower of Life expands in these directions, then this is just one direction. Maybe instead of total destruction, which is what this image depicts, instead we make our first ET contact on this spiral and join our galactic family. On this wave, maybe something else happens. Like, we start getting superpowers, like in Heroes or something. Maybe all of that can happen right here too. Anything is possible. Such discussion is the nature of this show. You don't have to believe any of this. The power of it lies not in the reality, but the discussion itself. I was told once that art would change the world. I didn't know what that meant for a really long time, but now I think I understand. Art is the expression of any energy, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. Whether it's male or female, it is the expression of consciousness. By taking our art to the next level and finding value in what we like to express, and what we want to see expressed, we begin to share and express more of our own truth, and our love, and our freedom. That is the nature of the transformation on this earth, as well as the desire to do and create. The artist has put together a short explanation as well as a long 30-page detailed version of what this image truly means, at least to him. And if you want to go deeper, there are links in the comments to his website and DeviantArt page. We're also featuring a lot of new art on the Spirit Science print shop, which we highly recommend checking out as well. Namaste, everyone. See you next time.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Turk, thank you very much. This is the UFO News for today. 5 stories. 5 stories. Story number 1 comes to us from Australia, over Sydney, Australia. We did something on this last week, so this was, I guess, a follow-up. This is another UFO cloud orb caught by famous UFO hunter Laszlo Novak, and he uses an old Sony camcorder with a IR lens on it. He does this with a group that go out together and watch the clouds because these clouds orbs could take hours to see them, and yes, I learned from him and brought a similar camera for myself to see. I did record many, well, white orbs traveling around the clouds, but they're extremely hard to find. It may take a week or two of searching any day to find a great sighting. Alright, so let's get to it, see what we've seen. This is a longer video, over 3 minutes. We're only going to watch a portion of it now. Okay. There's a Novak UFO hunter. Alright. Let me just zip forward here. Okay, they're following something here. It's hard to see with the light. Yeah, if you're able to put this on a large screen, you'll be able to see it much better. Alright, there's an object in question right there. Alright, this is over Sydney. Video links available. Will be available if it isn't. Alright, here we go. UFO sighting over Harrisburg, Illinois. This was on the 11th. Fascinating capture of a UFO during the sunset. If you want to see a UFO, the UFO shields are vulnerable during sunset due to the angle of the light that being bent around their shields. Okay. So here we go. Again, a 3-minute video. Okay. There's the object right here. And the camera's a little jittery, so nothing we can do about that. And there you go, you can see with the way the sun's around. Okay. So the video's there for you to flip through, or will be available, so check it out. Alright, here's an interesting one. Alien saves man's life in China car accident. Alright, this talks of an alien that teleported in. Since I live 1 hour from China, Taiwan, I can tell you this is a typical scene you'll see in the road every day, minus the teleportation. Yes, these trucks travel fast in Asia. I saw 3 accidents caused by such trucks 3 times in the same corner in 1 week. All hit a parent's car nearly 10 meters from an elementary school. So yes, the scene is real. The clothing they are wearing is normal since it's extremely hot right now, and the bicycle is used by poor people who recycle the goods others don't want. Police don't bother them. And all this looks 100% real. I am fully confident this is real. Also note the alien's hands, feet, face are glowing, an effect from changing from human to light and back to human again. Watch how he hides his face and hands immediately as he leaves the scene. Alright, let's take a look at this, see what you think. It's only a 56-second video. Alright, there we got the car. Alright, is this the one? Alright, there we go. That was the one right there. And did you see that? It happened pretty fast. And the truck driver's like, what the heck just happened there? Looking, I'm going to backtrack to, here it is, that moment. Go back here where it actually happened. Okay, you can see them coming. Then here on to the right, out of nowhere, comes this being. Boom, they both disappear together. Very interesting. Alright, so check that one out, see what you think of that. If you think that's real or not. Here's one that comes to us from over Crawley, UK on the 15th. It says unknown lights and orbs over Crawley, a town West Sussex, England. Alright, here we go. These look like they're all part of one object, the way that they're in formation here together. However, they could be multiple objects. Alright, video itself is 3 minutes long, and looks like there might be something else out here as well. Alright, let's check that out, see what you think. And one last story here for today. This is the moon. I don't know if you've seen any of these, but these are pretty fascinating. It says, while the moon certainly has less gravitational force than the Earth, nothing should float off of its surface. The moon is approximately 1/4 the size of the Earth, and roughly speaking, the gravitational force is 75% less that of the Earth. It would enable a man to jump a great distance, but nothing should simply float off the surface of the moon. If you are of the opinion that this video is genuine, then the objects that you see coming off the moon they're generating their own power. There have been compelling arguments that the moon has long been visited or even inhabited by ET. Okay, so watch this closely. This was just over the course of the last couple days. And it does ask a good question here. Is there a moon base? And the reason it asks, I'm going to move forward towards the end here. But you could see there's a bunch of activity. When it's close up, you could see there's one off right there. Another one. Look at all this. All these objects, according to this video, are leaving the moon. Let me back up again so you can see it. So the question is this real? Are these really objects leaving the moon here? There's the first one, and the rest are going to be following. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. First of all, they have to be pretty large that we're seeing them. And where are they coming from? Where are they going? Are they real? Okay. Video, a link will be available. Check that out, see what you think. Pretty fascinating, huh? Let's jump away to a song. You know the song. It's called We'll Wake Up. I'll be right back.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
Alright, I'm back. I'm back. You heard the song lots of times. Don't need to do it again right now. Okay, today we have a couple of things going. The first of which is today is Rosh Hashanah. It is a New Year's, and let me bring this information up for those who don't know this. This comes to us from Judaism 101. So if you just want to know the basics, here are some things. It says Rosh Hashanah occurs during the first and second days of Tishri, which is the 7th month on the Jewish calendar. In Hebrew, Rosh Hashanah literally means head of the year or first of the year. Rosh Hashanah is commonly known as the Jewish New Year. The name is somewhat deceptive because there is little similarity between Rosh Hashanah, one of the holiest days of the year, and the American midnight drinking bash and daytime football game. There is, however, one important similarity between the Jewish New Year and American one. Many Americans use the New Year as a time to plan a better life, making resolutions. Likewise, the Jewish New Year is a time to begin introspection, looking back at the mistakes of the past year and planning the changes to make in the new year. More on this concept at the Days of Awe. Now, the name Rosh Hashanah itself is not used in the Bible to discuss this holiday. The Bible refers to the holiday as Yom HaZikaron, the day of remembrance, or Yom Teruah, the day of sounding of the Shofar. The holiday is instituted in Leviticus 23, 24, 25. Now, the Shofar that I just mentioned is a ram's horn, which is blown somewhat like a trumpet. One of the most important observances of the holiday is the hearing of the sounding of the Shofar in the synagogue. A total of 100 notes are sounded each day. There are 4 different types of shofar notes: a Tekiah, a 3-second sustained note; Shevarim, 3 1-second notes rising in tone; Teruah, a series of short staccato notes extending over a period of about 3 seconds; and Tekiah, Gadolah, literally big Tekiah, the final blast in a set, which lasts, I think, about 10 seconds minimum. Click the shofar above to hear an approximation of the sound of the Tekiah, Shevarim, Tekiah. The Bible gives no specific reason for this practice. One that has been suggested is that the shofar sound is a call to repentance. The shofar is not blown if the holiday falls on Shabbat. Alright? And it goes on to say, no work is permitted on Rosh Hashanah. Most of the day is spent in synagogue, where the regular daily liturgy is somewhat expanded. In fact, there is a special prayer book called the Makshor used for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur because of the extensive liturgical changes for these holidays. Another popular observance during the holiday is eating apples dipped in honey, a symbol of our wish for a sweet new year. This was the second Jewish religious practice I was ever exposed to. The first one was the lighting of the Hanukkah candle, and I highly recommend it. Alright, so there you go. That's the basics of Rosh Hashanah. So happy Rosh Hashanah to everyone celebrating, and to everyone really in the world. It's a new opportunity, a new beginning for everyone. Alright, I have this piece I want to play on it. We're going to stay on the topic of Rosh Hashanah for the moment, and I'm going to play this piece. It's a little bit more of an introduction of what it is. So here you go.
All around the world will be celebrating Rosh Hashanah, or the Jewish New Year, this week. Here in Israel, it's very typical to see storefronts like this that are selling all kinds of honey and gifts that people can give to their families. Now, dipping apples in honey is a custom that expresses hope for a sweet and new year, but Rosh Hashanah also demands something spiritually of Jews, that they do some soul searching, introspection, look at some of their deeds and how they can improve their life. Let's take a listen to what Israelis said about the holiday.
It's one of the main holidays in our life, and it's always, you always need to check what you did in last year, and you need to try to change all your mistakes and think about it all day, and to do tefillah. How is it in English? Tefillah, it's to pray a lot that God give you a chance to be more good in next year.
That there is a king, I think all the universe, and we have to to get all the feelings that we stand in front of the king, and the king could do everything that he wants.
It means family to me, I suppose. Just me and my mom, and a little time off from work, and nothing more than that.
We are celebrate with our families. We always sit together in dinners and eat and go to the synagogue and buy presents each other, and it's very important holiday for all the Jewish all the world, I think. And that's it. We are very love it. Chag Sameach.
It's basically, to me, I feel like it's a new start, because it's the beginning of the year. Like whatever happened in the past, let's say things didn't go as planned as well, you could always have much better year.
To me, the sound of the shofar, the first mention of that is the sound of the shofar is in Exodus 19, where the presence of the Lord ascended on the mountain, and so to me, it signifies the presence of the Lord whenever it is sounded, and it says that there's a proclamation that happens in the spirit whenever we sound the shofar. That is very, very powerful.
The rabbis say the blowing of the shofar or ram's horn on Rosh Hashanah is meant to bring us to repentance, but it's also supposed to remind us of the story of the binding of Isaac. Abraham, filled with devotion and trust in God, follows the instructions to sacrifice his son. God doesn't permit him to do this, but Abraham's devotion and loyalty and submission to God has become a lesson for Jewish generations. Wishing you a Shana Tova from Jerusalem, I'm Jordana Miller for JN1.
All right, so continuing on, I hope you enjoyed that piece. This here is a piece that's actually sounding the shofar, so it seems appropriate that we should play this, so here we go.
The following shofar blast will be the traditional shofar blast. In my hand is a 49-inch, 47 to 49-inch Yemenite shofar. As you can see, it is very handsomely polished. Okay, very clean, very nice and long. The mouthpiece is a mouthpiece that is designed similar to what a trumpet is designed, so you'll get an exceptional sound with it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sound off with this shofar and then the other shofar, which is the first Tekiah, which is the awakening blast, the one long blast. That will be the Shevarim, which is the 3 staccato blasts. Now we're going to sound the Teruah, which is to sound the alarm of approaching enemy, which is the 9 broken blasts. And the last one is the Tekiah Gadolah, which is the one long blast, which increases in loudness. Is the one extended blast. Now I'm going to sound off my 47-inch shofar Yemenite, which comes from the antelope kudu antelope of Africa. This is also very nicely polished. It has a custom mouthpiece, just a tad larger, like you would find on a trumpet. So the first one obviously will be the traditional blast, which will be the Tekiah. Now the Shevarim. Again, which is the alarming sound. The 9 broken blasts. The last one will be the Tekiah Gadolah, which is the 1 long blast increasing in loudness. There you have it. 2 very distinct sounds. You can get about 5 to up to 7 notes on both of these Yemenites because of the custom mouthpiece. Okay, and they're both polished, 47 to 49 inch on the larger Yemenites. Shalom Uberhab.
All right, there you go. There you go. All right, continuing on. So in addition to Rosh Hashanah, today is also an anniversary day here in America for the birth of the Constitution of the United States of America. So I also wanted to bring this up. Now, some of you may wonder, well, why did I talk about Rosh Hashanah first before the Constitution? Because in my book, spiritual always comes before anything physical. And the Constitution had spiritual inspiration behind it, but it's not quite the same thing as a spiritual tradition that has continued on. So that is why. Nothing political, nothing having to do with anything other than spirit comes first. Now we move on to the next. Constitution, the physical, political. All right? And over here, I've got a couple links so you can check in the Constitution, read through them, what they're about, in case you haven't read the Constitution. Alright, and this other link right here. So the Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the land of America. The first 3 articles of the Constitution establish the rules and separate powers of the 3 branches of the federal government: a legislature, the bicameral Congress, an executive branch led by the President, and a federal judiciary headed by the Supreme Court. The last 4 articles frame the principles of federalism. The 10th Amendment confirms its federal characteristics. The Constitution was adopted on September 17, 1787 by the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and ratified by the conventions in 11 states. It went into effect March 4, 1789. The first 10 constitutional amendments ratified 3/4 of the states in 1791 are known as the Bill of Rights. The Constitution has been amended 17 additional times for a total of 27 amendments, and its principles are applied in courts by law by judicial review. The Constitution guides America's society and law and political culture. It is the oldest written national constitution in contentious use, and it's influenced later international figures establishing national constitutions. Recent impulses for reform center on concerns for expanding democracy and balancing the federal. Okay. So there you go. There's links are available. Basically, one thing that's important to know, this Constitution of the United States is held sacred to a number of individuals here in America and around the world, but not to all Americans. And it is for that reason that this Constitution is being torn apart. The Patriot Act didn't do any favors to it, and then the National Defense Authorization Act that Obama signed has also torn it apart. Presidents do not wish to keep this in place. Why? Because the United States of America, 100 years after this, 1871, became a corporation, the Corporation of the United States of America, and that changed things. People don't understand we're a corporation. When you tell them, they think that, oh, it's just your opinion. It's not my opinion, it's the way that the system is organized. If people don't understand this, it's not my fault. You need to go and you need to look and research. This is important. It's important. There are books out there. This is a little mini constitution. It's important to get these books and have them available for yourself so that when you're out and about, you can be able to speak intelligently about what's going on. about the Constitution. You'll know when things are being taken out of it. So, yes, we are living in a situation that is a corporate structure, told that we are a democracy, when in fact we are a constitutional republic, none of which is described by either the democracy or of the corporation forms. Nonetheless, this is what's at the heart of everything, and we need to remind ourselves. We need to remind ourselves. If you're in the military, there's organizations like Oath Keepers, which will help to refresh your memory about the oaths that you took. If you're not in the military and you just want to understand the Constitution, it's a great thing to know, because this is the law of our land. And if we don't understand this, believe me, there's going to be others who are going to try to take this apart. They do each and every day. All right, this is a brief introduction to the Constitution. Let me play this for you here. I'll be back.
The Constitution of the United States, the supreme law of the nation, consisting of 7 articles and 27 amendments. The document was drafted by the Constitutional Convention held in Philadelphia in the year 1787. This was a time of turmoil for the newly formed federal government, as citizens expressed dissatisfaction with the government's lack of authority to pass laws for the entire nation. Prominent statesmen issued repeated warnings that the future of the Union was in danger, and revision of the government was needed. An unexpected solution came in 1786 from a convention of representatives of 5 states meeting in Annapolis, Maryland, to establish uniform trade regulations for the 13 states. That convention called for all states to send delegates to a separate convention for this declared purpose: to devise such further provisions as shall appear to them necessary to render the Constitution of the federal government adequate to the exigencies of the Union. The proposal was endorsed by Congress in February 1787, and the Constitutional Convention convened 3 months later with 55 delegates representing 12 states. Rhode Island refused to send delegates out of fear that increased federal regulation would injure the state's successful trade industry. George Washington was named president of the convention, which was in continuous session for 16 weeks, establishing a government of limited and delegated powers. On September 17, 1787, 39 delegates signed the Constitution and sent it to the Congress of the Confederation. On September 28th, Congress sent the Constitution to the states for ratification, as Article 7 of the document required ratification by 2/3 of the states before the Constitution could become law. A bitter struggle ensued, with small farmers and artisans chief among those opposing ratification. Many favored a confederation of sovereign states, while others were concerned with safeguarding citizens' fundamental rights. These concerns were later addressed in the first 10 amendments. Rhode Island was the final state to ratify the Constitution, and did so only after Congress threatened to regard it as a foreign nation.
All right, there you go, a little history of the Constitution. If you go to Washington, D.C. now, you can go to the National Archives and you can see it there. However, in March, during the administration of Obama, the policy was changed, and now they don't want you taking photographs inside, because they say that taking photographs will diminish the ink on the Constitution themselves and the Declaration. However, that story's a bit bogus, because video cameras, they don't use flash photography, so therefore it throws that idea out the window. I think it's just another excuse to keep people away from seeing what's going on, or discourage them from taking pictures and things of this nature. Alright, so again, Americans need to step up for this document, for your country. Otherwise, big problems will happen. Alright, this piece here is a trailer for a movie coming out called Shade. This is the second trailer. Share this to everyone and everything possible. Rip it to the four corners of the earth. You have our permission. As you already may know, we have been working hard behind the scenes of our new film Shade, the motion picture, an ambitious and Burmese film to be released winter of 2012. I would like to start off by giving a special thanks to all those who are in support of this film, as its level of information is no joke and must be taken seriously. We are risking life and limb, as crucial footage and testimony will be withheld from trailers and protected by several sources until the final production version of Shade, the motion picture, released sometime this winter. The film's powerful presentation is intended to make the global crime syndicate faultier while testing their mettle to the fullest potential possible. Alright, here we go. Check it out.
What if you knew your very own government was implicated in spraying poisonous metals and toxins on the population?
I'm not surprised. I mean, let's look at the history. In the last 100 years, it's been proven and completely declassified information. They've been experimenting on people without their consent or will or knowledge. At the same time that they were spraying, my health started to get worse. After little research, yes, I had all the symptoms of barium intoxication. We have about 20 people, and about 90% came back with a very high levels of barium or aluminum.
It's government control of everything in our lives. Everything from the cereal you eat, everything to the air you breathe, how many times you flush your toilet. It's everything. And that's what they're trying to do, is micromanage how we live, who lives, where we live, what we eat.
It's so sad because, our children, nowadays, our children can see the blue sky. And
how do chemtrails relate to depopulation?
I guess the only way to know just what is being dispersed from these aerosols in our skies, known as chemtrails,
no rain, sorry,
is to actually get your rainwater tested.
When I was young, I thought, skies are blue.
I mean, if we don't wake up and do something right now, our future is just totally screwed.
Chicken's feathers are coming out. We have to do something about this.
If you control the weather, you control everything. You control every food supply and literally every political system.
Or we will all die. Sorry, can't grow watermelons anymore.
Geoengineering gives man godlike power.
You're going to have scarcity.
Now, I've never chased godlike power.
Back in the day, we enjoy the rain and, we playing.
But it must be one hell of a rush.
It's raining. Don't go outside without umbrella. It's a sad thing, you know what I'm saying?
Dark days ahead if we don't address these issues.
Alright, so that's coming out this fall or winter. As soon as it does, as soon as we hear about it, you will definitely be notified. Alright, so brings us to the end. Let's continue on with the reading here of Warrior of the Light. I'm going to read to the next part. Okay. Continuing on. A warrior of the light knows his own faults, but he also knows his qualities. Some of his companions complain that all the time the other people have more opportunities than we do. Perhaps they are right, but a warrior does not allow himself to be paralyzed by this. He tries to make the most of his virtues. He knows that the gazelle's power lies in its strong legs. The power of the seagull lies in the accuracy with which it can spear a fish. He has learned that the reason the tiger does not fear the hyena is because he is aware of his own strength. He tries to establish what he can truly rely on, and he always checks that he carries three things with him: faith, hope, and love. If these things are there, he does not hesitate to go forward. The warrior of the light knows that no one is stupid, and that life teaches everyone, however long that may take. He always does his best and expects the best of others. Through his generosity, he tries to show each person how much they are capable of achieving. Some of his companions say, "Some people are so ungrateful." The warrior is not discouraged by this, and he continues to encourage others because this is the way of encouraging himself. Every warrior of the light has felt afraid of going into battle. Every warrior of the light has at some time in the past lied or betrayed someone. Every warrior of the light has trodden a path that was not his. Every warrior of the light has suffered for the most trivial of reasons. Every warrior of the light has at least once believed that he is not a warrior of the light. Every warrior of the light has failed in his spiritual duties. Every warrior of the light has said yes when he wanted to say no. Every warrior of the light has hurt someone he loved. That is why he is a warrior of the light, because he has been all through this and has never lost hope of being better than he is. The warrior always listens to the words of certain thinkers such as T.H. Huxley. The consequences of our actions are the scarecrows of fools and the beacons of wise men. The chessboard is the world. The pieces are the gestures of our daily lives. The rules of the games are what we call the laws of nature. The player on the other side is hidden from us, but we know that his path is always fair, just, and patient. The warrior simply has to accept the challenge. He knows that God never overlooks a single mistake made by those he loves, nor does he allow his favorites to pretend ignorance of the rules of the game. A warrior of the light does not postpone making decisions. He thinks a great deal before taking action. He considers his training as well as his responsibilities and duties as a teacher. He tries to remain calm and to analyze each step as if it were of supreme importance. However, as soon as he has made a decision, the warrior proceeds. He has no doubts about his chosen path, nor does he change direction if circumstances turn out differently from how he imagined them. If his decision is correct, he will win the battle, even if it lasts longer than expected. If his decision is wrong, he will be defeated, and he will have to start all over again, only this time with more wisdom. But once he has started, a warrior of the light perseveres until the end. A warrior knows that his best teachers are the people with whom he shares the battlefield. It is dangerous to ask for advice. It is even more dangerous to give advice. When he needs help, he tries to see his friends, how they resolve or fail to resolve their problems. If he is in search of inspiration, he reads on the lips of his neighbor the words that the guardian angel is trying to say to him. When he is tired or lonely, he does not dream about distant men and women. He turns to the person beside him and shares his sorrow or his need for affection with them, with pleasure and without guilt. A warrior knows that the furthest flung star in the universe reveals itself in all the things around him. So now imagine all of these qualities of the spiritual warrior, of the warrior of the light. Imagine all of these qualities within you. Imagine that as you are reminded one by one of each of these qualities, you remember more. More of who you are and what you're about. Make sure all of your chakras are activated from the bottom of the spine on up. Red at the bottom of the spine. Orange above that. Yellow just below the rib cage. Blue at the throat. Green at the heart. Blue at the throat. Violet at the third eye. Indigo at the crown chakra. Imagine the light forming a protection around your body, protection of light. Imagine your aura extending outward to the room you live, the city, the state, country, and all around the world, shared with others. And let's think a good loving thought for everyone on this day. Let's use this time of Rosh Hashanah to go and contemplate where we have been, what we have done, and contemplate the changes necessary for us to move forward, to make this an even better year than the one before. Now, sending out love to the whole world. Let's bring our energy and attention back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Alright, there you have it. Thanks for being here. Have a great day. It's a new start. Rosh Hashanah, a great time to let go of the past, begin something new. Alright? We're all taking the step together. I'll be back tomorrow with more news information. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.